Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in and welcome to the channel if this is your first time here. My name is Dustin and I'm on yet another Fluke trip in western Long Island Sound. And it's August, it's hot, the bass have been MIA, but the bottom fishing's been okay. Not like it was in the spring, but it's been alright. But Fluke has still been a grind and, I'm grinding, so we're going to stay at it, and it will pay off at the end of this video. And we got a few other species mixed in here, so this was a really fun trip, and I'm going to narrate some of my comments throughout the video and talk about gear and techniques and things like that. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. I'm about to make my first cast of the day with a topwater plug, as I routinely do in the mornings, just to see if there are any bass or bluefish in the area. Today there weren't, but if you do want to see a lot of topwater action, check out the video in the top right of the screen. That was a super fun day. It was all topwater, and I think we had a bite for a good 3 hours, and it was just a lot of fun. So if you do want to see that, check out the video above, and let's get into the fishing. And here's a quick look at the rig that I'm using. It's a 1-ounce Spro bucktail with a Spro teaser tied about a foot above it. And I'm just putting the Gulp Grub 4-inch on the bucktail, and then I put the 4-inch swimming mullet on the teaser. Alright, so here's the first drop of the day. We've got about a 0.7 mile an hour drift, and I'm just bouncing the bucktail rig off the bottom. Yep, and of course, first fish of the day is a sea robin, which, it's not what I'm after, but they never fail to show up, and it's hard to avoid them, so. And I guess if you haven't had them before, they are really good eating, but it's just not what I'm after this day. Ooh. I think that's a fluke.
Got one?
I think so. Yes, sir. So as soon as I got this fish to the surface, I realized that I didn't have my net out yet, like an idiot, and so that's why I swung it in. It was also, I could also tell it wasn't a keeper, so I wasn't too worried about it, but these fish do have a tendency to shake the hook once they get to the surface. I always like to keep them moving, get the net in front of them, and nice and easy. If you leave them in the water and let them have slack in the line, they'll shake the hook no problem. And that fish was only 17 inches, and I'm fishing on an 18.5 inch limit in Connecticut, so it's gonna go back. And here's the next fish, and I'm sorry I didn't get the hook up. It was right in between battery changes. Yep. So that's the second fluke of the day, and it was just shy of a keeper at 18 inches, so another short. Okay, so this is a couple of drifts later. We're just working over the same piece of structure we've been fishing all morning, which is, it's just a ledge in about 30 to 40 feet of water. And pay attention to how long it takes for this fish to hit the bucktail after it hits the bottom. I just find it really interesting. Yeah, so that bucktail must have hit this fish on the head because it took it immediately. And the fish was 18.5 inches and the first keeper of the trip, so pretty happy about that. And for those of you that have seen my other videos, you know that I do like to bleed my fish. And what I mean by that is when I get one that I'm going to keep, I run a knife through its gills and leave it in the water for a couple of minutes for it to bleed out. I find that this is a humane way to kill them quickly, and it also improves the quality of the meat. You get a smaller bloodline. Not that Fluke really have that issue because it is all, delicious white meat, but especially with other species, if you're keeping striped bass or porgy, I find that it's really important. So that's what I'm doing here. Here we go. Just a robin. So I'm not sure that I've actually ever caught 3 fluke in a row before without there being a sea robin interruption, so I'm not even mad about this one. So at this point I had switched over to squid on a jig head, which I do a lot when I'm fluke fishing, just to see if they tend to show a preference, because they sometimes certainly do.
Yeah.
And we got into a new species here.
Yep. Yeah.
So the limit on sea bass is 16 inches. That one was probably closer to 13 or 14. And it was actually a nice surprise because there's a lot of like 3 and 4 inch juvenile sea bass around right now that will attack things twice their size. So it was kind of nice to see one that wasn't a complete micro bass. Hey, and for those of you interested, I'm using a 6-foot 4-inch Daiwa Harrier rod rated 40 to 50 pounds, and I've got it paired with a Quantum Accurist, and I've got Daiwa J-Braid 8X Grand 15 pounds spooled on it.
There you go. Another sea bass. 2 of them following each other. Yeah. There's a fluke.
Wow.
Nope. Oh, it's a sea bass.
And this sea bass was 15 inches, which would have been last year's keeper, but with the updated regulations, he's going to go back. And of course, a day of bottom fishing isn't complete without a few scup showing up. Lucky for these ones, I'm not keeping any this day. I had enough in the freezer as it was.
Oh, Alex. Oh, man.
Yeah, so you might actually have to rewind to see why that was so scary, but the fluke shook the hook while it was still in the water before I had it in the net. So the fact that I was able to net that fish was just super lucky, and that's actually the biggest fluke of my life to date. It was 24 inches and just over 4.5 pounds. Alright, so that fluke didn't bite a minute too late because we were just heading off the water before I landed it. So that's the last fish for the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your support. If you like this video, please click the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe. I upload videos on a weekly basis. Thanks so much.